Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the miserable liberal and Ron Placone.
I'm miserable.
Howdy, howdy.
So they say Trump is compromising on guns. This is from Vox. And so he's kind of compromising. Well, here's what's happening. The White House last week said that Trump supports the Fix NICS Act, which potentially, with some tweaks to the measure's language, the bill, which so far has stalled in Congress, pushes federal agencies to better report criminal records to the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, the NICS, with the threat of financial penalties, and encourages states to do the same with financial incentives. Trump on Tuesday signed a memo directing the Attorney General to propose regulations that, quote, ban all devices that turn legal weapons into machine guns, like bump stocks, a gunman used to kill 58 people and injured hundreds more in Las Vegas in 2017. So that's that thing that takes your regular and turns into a machine gun. It's the regular, you have to squeeze the trigger then to do that. Trump also supports raising the minimum age for buying assault weapons from 18 to 21. I bet that'll do it because most of your assault weapon killers are 19 years old. If we could just get rid of them. It's not the guns, it's the age. The measures are improvements on current gun laws, but they're also fairly mild. Yeah, I would say. Let me say this to people because I'm anti-gun, right? I think it's crazy that we have. If you want to have a handgun, maybe we could talk about it. You have it in your house. It's still that studies. All the studies show. I don't have a handgun in my house because all the studies show you're going to kill someone you know. That's what it's like. I don't know, a billion times more likely to kill someone that you know than a stranger or an intruder. It does happen. You can stave off an intruder. It has happened. But it's not going to happen if you have it in your house. I'm just telling you. I don't know what the exact. But here's the thing: people will always put under comments under videos like this. They're going to say things like, "Oh, great! So you're going to give away your guns? Not only the government has guns." First of all, I haven't seen anybody fight back against the government yet with their guns. Okay, do you see what happened to the guys up at the in Oregon? What was the
Bundy?
The Bundys.
Oh, yeah.
You see what happened? That guy got killed, right? When he tried to fight back, they shot him. Those guys couldn't have been more armed, were they? So, but the more important point is, you say, "Oh, take away your guns." Now, I used to say the same thing, so it's not like I'm ridiculing you because I would say the same thing, that we need to have guns to protect ourselves from the government, like the Black Panthers did. And then guess what they did in California when the Black Panthers started carrying shotguns around and monitoring police? They passed a law that said you can't do that. As soon as black guys start open carrying, either they're going to kill the black guys or they're going to make it illegal to open carry. I say they're going to kill the black guys. So when people say, this is what turned me on the whole thing. Because people say, well, I want to have my guns to protect myself from the tyranny of the government. The government's already terrorizing you. They already kill 1,000 people in the street every year, A. B, you're already living in a surveillance state, meaning the government is already breaking your constitutional rights every day. We have another video, the surveillance state, they're tracking every phone call, email, and text you make, right? So then they used illegally that information they got from you to prosecute regular crimes, which they're not supposed to do. We're giving up all this constitutional protections because you're supposed to be fighting terrorists. Turns out they're not. They're using it against you illegally all the time. So right now we live in a surveillance state. Our government is breaking the Constitution as a matter of course every day, which means your constitutional rights. You have your guns. When are you going to go get your rights back? They're never going to get. So you just have your guns because you like your fucking guns. Your guns aren't there to protect you guys from the government. The government already took your rights away. They already took them away. You don't have any right to privacy. They're already surveilling you. They're already doing parallel construction. So you don't have any rights anymore. But you do have your guns. So now I want you guys who say that underneath this video to go use your guns and get your rights back from the government. And I know this is going to be too hard of a logic stream for some people to follow, but it's not hard for me. Is it hard for either of you to follow my logic stream? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So our rights have already been taken from us, is what I'm saying. Your rights have already been taken from you. You still have your guns. Go get your rights back, tough guy. So that's why that's a bullshit argument. That's all I'm saying.
Well, not only is it a ridiculous argument, but it can be traced back to some of the original thoughts behind being armed. And that was back when they were like worried that England was going to come back or something. Like it can be like traced back to the early times when guns were, by the way, a lot different.
A lot different. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And they always only read one part of the Second Amendment. They leave the part out that says a well-regulated militia.
Yep.
That kid buying an assault rifle in Florida, it's not a well-regulated there's no regulations, and it's not a militia. So it's not constitutional.
Well, I think there's one thing that they're also, first off, it is troubling that there are improvements and they're fairly mild. Yes. Okay, that's troubling. But the other suggestion is arming teachers.
Yes, you're right. That's the new one.
They cannot wait to arm teachers. So is that going to be the militia that they're looking for?
So here's why Trump wants to arm teachers. If you arm just 20% of the teachers in America, I think that's about $1 billion in gun sales. So that's
additionally,
so this is all about. This is called late stage capitalism. That's what this is. This is where capitalists capture your government, and literally the capitalism is killing you literally with guns, and you're still powerless to fight against it because the capitalism is strong. And the only remedies you can have is more capitalism. And right now they're recommending, we're going to do this in another video, they're recommending bulletproof blankets for kids at school. Not kidding. Because guess what? They can sell you bulletproof blankets for your kids. That's more late stage capitalism.
I just want to say that I think as a teacher that having a gun would only make my union stronger.
Yeah, I want to have a gun in a classroom because kids can never get at that gun. You know how kids they'll never figure out a way where that teacher keeps the gun, how to get it. You're never going to hear stories like that ever.
Well, when you have a gun in your house and it's more likely to hurt somebody that lives in the house, if you had a gun in the classroom.
Yeah. Now guess what? Now those kids don't have to go buy a gun. They just get the gun's already at school. They punch the teacher in the head, grab the gun, start fucking shooting everybody. Right?
But aren't you looking forward to like 10 or 15 years from now where we get to have the arguments of, hey, we can't change the gun laws because look at all the people that are employed by the bulletproof blanket manufacturers.
Yes, that's right.
Bad for the economy.
So then the kid punches the teacher in the head, grabs the teacher's gun, starts shooting everybody. Oh, I got it. We got to arm the students. So now everyone's got to be armed. That's the safest place to be, huh? Everybody's armed. That's just nuts. That's like, hey, would you want everybody walking around with an explosive in their pocket? Yeah, I don't want that.
Well, at least you got to be 21 to buy an assault. At least they're proposing that, so you can like go out on your birthday, get hammered, and buy a weapon,
and then buy a weapon.
That's great.
Those are some great things. Okay, so so Trump is that. These are the things that Trump. So ironically, Ron, you were making the point that. If we're ever going to get gun legislation, the best chance is when there's a Republican in the office.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. We always talk about on this show how it's like, the Democrats are kind of the wolves in sheep's clothing, and they can pass stuff that Republicans can only dream
NAFTA.
of, like NAFTA, like the Telecommunications Act in 1996.
Deregulating Wall Street. Reagan could have never done that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It took a Democrat to give corporate cover to the other Democrats to go along with it.
Mm-hmm. Or a right-wing healthcare plan.
Right.
And gutting everything that made it not a right-wing healthcare plan. It's still... So this is almost like the other end of that, where it's like, well, maybe the only way like the NRA and stuff like that will listen is if a Republican is in office proposing some, even though this is beyond, softball is an overstatement for this legislation, but compared to nothing, I guess it's not nothing.
There are other countries that do have guns that don't have the gun violence, like Canada, eh? Mm-hmm. They have guns and things, but they don't have the violence, and I think it's because they have universal health care, and not everybody is just treading water as hard up there. And, if you lose your job, you don't lose your health care. You don't have to worry about it. You got a sick kid, you lose your job, doesn't matter. Everybody gets health care. That's such a big deal. Can you imagine? That's such a big deal.
Yeah.
But there are other countries. Does Switzerland have guns too?
Yeah, well, they have a thing where like they have heavy regulation on the ammunition. Like you have to go to certain places to use the gun, and that's why there's so many countries doing things that we could kind of emulate. So that
Japan also has guns, but you have to take like a course on how to do it, and then you have to register, and then you have to re-register like every 2 years.
Yes.
You have to go take the course again. You have to. There's a big, and they don't have gun deaths there.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the easiest way to solve this problem is just have the military teach our kids.
Yeah. Why don't we just have the Army and the Marines teaching you algebra, right? That's what I'd say. That's what I want in my classroom. If we can't have guns, let's at least have Marines. Please make sure you're subscribed, because I know you think you are, but you're probably not. I know you think people say we're crazy. Please check. Make sure you're subscribed. Click that bell so you get a notification, even though they won't notify you all the time. This is the only way we can fight back.
We literally get emails every day.
Every day
the show gets emails. We thought you guys were messing with us. But this morning, I'm unsubscribed. We get those every single day.
Every single day. So please make sure you are subscribed. We're doing a show Saturday in San Diego. I think there might be a few tickets left. And then March 30th in Burbank, California, we're also doing a show, stand-up show. Link for tickets right there. Thanks for your support.